8 years. That is how long my twin and I had not spoken. We were born minutes apart but became complete strangers after one terrible family betrayal. I believed I would never hear his voice again. Then one cold night my phone rang at exactly midnight. I almost ignored it. When I answered I heard something that froze my blood. My brother was crying. He could barely speak. He whispered, "Please help me," before the line suddenly went silent. I had no idea that this phone call would lead me to a place where one shocking family secret had been hidden for years. Stay with me because what happened next changed both of our lives forever. 8 years earlier, my brother Daniel and I had been inseparable. We shared everything as children. We finished each other's sentences. We defended each other against bullies. People joked that we had one heart in two bodies. Everything changed after our father passed away. The family business became the center of endless arguments. Misunderstandings grew into accusations. Relatives took sides. Words were spoken that could never be taken back. Eventually, Daniel blamed me for something I had never done. I blamed him for refusing to listen. We walked away from each other and never looked back. Years passed. I built a quiet life in another city. I got married, started a new career. I convinced myself that I no longer needed my brother. Then the midnight phone call came. His voice sounded weak. He whispered, "I have no one else." Before I could ask where he was, the call ended. I tried calling back again and again, but no answer. The next morning, I drove 4 hours to the town where he lived. His neighbors avoided eye contact. One elderly woman finally whispered that nobody had seen Daniel outside in a very long time. His son always claimed his father was sick and wanted privacy. Something felt terribly wrong. I walked to the property. Daniel's son greeted me with a fake smile. He looked surprised to see me after so many years. He told me my brother was resting and refused to let me inside. I noticed something strange. Behind the house stood an old storage shed with a heavy lock. As I walked closer, I thought I heard a faint voice. I called Daniel's name. There was silence. Then I heard 3 slow knocks. My heart nearly stopped. I demanded the key. His son refused. I immediately called the police. While waiting, I kept talking through the wooden door. Then I heard the weakest voice imaginable. It was Daniel. When officers arrived, they forced the door open. Inside was a heartbreaking sight. My brother looked exhausted, frightened, and painfully thin. He broke down in tears the moment he saw me. He kept repeating, "I knew you would come." The investigation uncovered financial exploitation and neglect allegations. Detectives began collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses. The truth slowly came to light. Years of manipulation had separated Daniel from everyone who cared about him. Lies had convinced neighbors and relatives that he wanted complete isolation. As Daniel recovered, he finally told me everything. He admitted that years earlier he had believed false stories about me. Pride had kept him from reaching out. When his own life fell apart, he realized he had pushed away the only person who would never truly abandon him. I looked at my brother. For the first time in 8 years, we cried together. Recovery was slow. He needed medical care, emotional support, and time. Every morning I visited him. Every afternoon we talked about childhood memories. Every evening we planned the future instead of reliving the past. Months later, Daniel stood outside under the open sky for the first time without fear. He smiled. Not because everything was perfect, but because hope had returned. We never recovered the lost years. No one can, but we refused to lose another day. Sometimes forgiveness is not about forgetting. Sometimes it is about choosing family before pride. If that midnight phone call had come one day later, everything might have ended differently. That thought still keeps me awake. Life can separate families through anger, pride, and misunderstanding. But sometimes one phone call can change everything. If someone you love is still alive, there is still time to make peace. Do not wait until regret becomes permanent. The greatest victory is not revenge. The greatest victory is choosing compassion when it